I volunteered with Parents First for around 3 years, thoroughly enjoyed it, and then I see they advertise for an outreach worker, a local outreach worker in my area. So at the time I wasn't even sure what an outreach worker was, to be honest. So I had to have a little bit of a read up on what one was, because really this would have been my first proper job since obviously leaving my first job when I had my first child. So anyway, I had a look up and I was like, yeah, I can do that, read the job description, and I applied for it and got the interview, and I was so pleased when I got it. I was so proud of myself that I got it. But again, I felt very, very nervous because I was back out in the working world. And for me, that was a massive challenge and a big jump. And I remember when I first started, a couple of times I'd come out and ring my husband saying, I can't do it, I feel really nervous. He's like, you can get back in there, but everyone was obviously really welcoming and lovely. So that's how I landed my first role. So that was an outreach worker for the local area in Vange and Pitsea, I think that was. And my role was to go out and get our name out there in Vange and Pitsea. So I linked in with all of the midwives, all of the health visitors, the children's centres, and I set up some outreach placements in those areas where I would sit alongside the midwife and engage with the mums when they were just coming in and talking to the midwife. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just loved it because I'm a people's person. I love talking to people and making people feel at ease if they feel really anxious, because I always kept reflecting back to how I felt when I was waiting to see the midwife or waiting to see the health visitor. So it was just putting their mind at ease and just chatting with them, really, just a friendly face. And it was quite nice because I would also get lots of mums that felt they would need the one-to-one support. So they would feel at ease with me and maybe see me again next time they come and see the midwife. And then we'd build up a bit of a relationship. And obviously I'd tell them about the one-to-one support that we'd offer, so they would link in that way as well. So that was really lovely. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then from then, my role just sort of developed just gradually, really, as time's gone on, because I then went on to be a development worker. So I still carried on doing the outreach that I was doing. I was also doing some first visits with the mums, which was really lovely. So they were more what we would call in the office, the easier ones, I suppose, which was quite nice. So I'd go out and do the first visit with the mum and then come back, and then we would chat with the team and match those with a volunteer. So I really enjoyed that. And then I've gradually just moved on in my role again, and I'm now volunteer coordinator. So now I coordinate most of the volunteers, as that says, and I support Claire in coordinating the programme as well. So I supervise, at the moment I'm supervising 8 volunteers, and I'm first port of call for most of the volunteers as well. And I do most of the initial visits, which is when the first call comes in. I will call the mum for the first time to make that first contact, and do a home visit. Normally, obviously not in this situation, but do a home visit with the mum. And again, that's really lovely because anxious, nervous mum, it's nice to go around with a smiley, friendly face and make her feel at ease, and how we can benefit her as a service through her pregnancy. And when I'm obviously supervising the volunteers and welcoming the volunteers onto the training course, I feel really passionate, like I say, about making them feel comfortable, making them feel welcome, because that's how I felt when I walked through that door, that they can do this. They need to believe in themselves, they can do this. And when they're matched with their first mum, they feel really, really nervous. And I can then say, I've been there, I've done that, I know exactly how you feel, don't worry, I'm not here to watch you or judge you, I'm just here to support you. That's all, there's nothing you can do wrong. Just be yourself. The thing for me was I left school with no qualifications. Okay, I worked in retail, so I worked in a shop, and I didn't really feel very well educated. So when I first come into the working role, there was obviously lots of things for me that I found very challenging, and that was getting my head round computers. Obviously, I'd never really worked a computer. When I said about sending my first email, I've never really worked, how old ever I am, at school, we didn't really have computers and things like that, Time's come on so much now, hasn't it? So for me, that's been quite challenging, is things like that. And if someone will say to me, oh, could you help design a leaflet or something like that? That's me personally, I found things a little bit like that challenging. And when I first come in, like if we'd have a meeting and, people would be talking in big words or something, I'd be like, what does that mean? You know, so I've been a bit like, can we talk in layman's terms, as I call it? And I feel quite passionate about that when I'm communicating with the volunteers as well, that we try and keep it at a level that everyone feels comfortable at, you know, because I've been there and I know how they feel, as in with the training as well, and making everyone feel comfortable and like they understand everything and that no one's feeling out of their depth as such. The thing for me that keeps me ticking over is when I go back and visit a lady at the end of support and she tells me how wonderful it's all been, how she feels so different in herself and how what her and the volunteer have done all through the support. And she says, thank you, like just thank you so much. She said, if it wasn't for Parents First, she said, I don't know where I would be. And then what's lovely then, I will then go back to the volunteer and I will share that back. And then you see that volunteer, you know, grow with that pride, you know, and I'm like, you've done that. If it wasn't for you, that lady wouldn't be feeling how she's feeling. And that for me, that's like, yes, that's why we do it. Or sometimes I'll match a volunteer with a mum. I got one a couple of weeks ago actually, and the mum will text me and say, we've had our first phone call. Thank you so much. She is just lovely. It's just what I needed. And that you just think, oh, that's what it's about. I just love it.